Hello, welcome to the msuwma podcast. This is Justin Jackson. Today's guest, Brittney Castro, is the founder and CEO of Financially Wise Inc., a Los Angeles-based financial company whose mission is to teach individuals and couples the art of managing their finances in a thoughtful and proactive way. Brittney is a noted financial expert and a go-to resource for national media outlets and platforms, including CNN, CNBC, The Wall Street Journal, The New York Times, and much more. Brittney was elected one of the 40 under 40 in 2020 by Investment News, as well as one of the 22 women to watch by Investment News in 2018, and was ranked 6th on Investopedia's top influential financial advisors list in 2017. Additionally, Brittney serves as the in-house CFP for Mint, as well as the head of education for Altruist, both roles where she can continue her effort to spread financial literacy to the masses through media interviews, video content, social media campaigns, etc. She is a CFP Pro spokeswoman as part of the CFP Board Center for Financial Planning's campaign to educate minorities about financial planning careers. If you'd like to learn more about her, check her out at financiallywiseinc.com. I hope you enjoy the show. Ladies and gentlemen. All right. Thank you for coming on today.
Thanks, Justin, for having me.
Yeah. So could you start off by telling us about your journey as a financial advisor? Maybe even starting all the way back to when you were in college.
Yeah. It's so funny because I'm talking to you and it doesn't feel like that long ago, but It kind of does. In college, I studied business economics. I literally had no idea what a financial advisor was. Didn't even know there was an industry, none of that. I just knew in college, I did have the idea that I wanted to own a business. I thought at that time I would do something like a restaurant. I'm very like people, social. I love parties. So I thought, oh, maybe I'll be an event planner. I did an internship with an event planner. We planned fabulous events, but I realized I want to go to the events. I don't want to plan them. So anyway, when I was graduating, I just got a job offer as a financial advisor. And I remember going to my career counselor. I said, what's a financial advisor? I got this job offer. I don't know what to do. And she goes, why don't you just take it? Just say yes, because you never know. You might like it. And the point is, you just got to start. You got to do something. And I think that's such a valuable advice, especially nowadays, because it's so overwhelming. Sometimes everybody thinks they need to find their purpose or their passion. And I was like, get a job and you'll figure it out. Because really, it's just about getting your experience, learning what you're good at, what you like, what you don't like. And you won't know unless you try. And for me, I just kind of got, I guess, lucky that I accepted the job and then I ended up doing well and I liked it. And then, like you just keep taking the next step. And here I am now still doing the work that I started with. But very rare is that, a lot of people graduate college and they have to try many things in their 20s until they figure out what really they want to do and how they could use their different skill set or talents and personality to make a living.
So what were your first couple of years like, just starting out?
Not honestly, hell. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, It was hard. But I also think that was valuable to really learn hard work. It wasn't like a true brokerage firm, but in a lot of ways, it was that old school mentality of cold calling. We literally had a schedule, Justin, where we had to work 60 hours a week. So Monday through Friday, it was 12 hours. We had a clock in, clock out. We had different like courses and a manager who would oversee. It was great for that reason. We got a lot of training, like new advisors, which I think is pretty rare. Not a lot of firms have this type of program anymore, but I remember I would sit with a group of new advisors and we'd learn about marketing or we'd learn about financial planning, how to actually do it, how to get clients, how to communicate with your clients, how to manage your practice. So it was very valuable, but then we would have to go on Saturdays and make cold calls. And in a way, it teaches you a discipline and a hustle ethic, that I think a lot of times we don't have. I mean, sometimes I look at people starting after college and I think, why don't they work hard? I don't get it. Like I had to work so hard.
Yeah.
but I'm grateful that it was that intense. I mean, and then it also shaped, then for me, after 5 years at that company, it shaped that, okay, this model doesn't really work for me. I think I learned everything I could learn here, and now I need to find a platform that's more independent, so I have more kind of flexibility and freedom to do things, even market how I wanted to, not always on the phone, but organically meeting people and going to workshops. And then if I did my work, not having to stay 12 hours, because I also don't believe in this model that you have to sit at your desk for 12 hours when, one, I would do the work. So it wasn't like I wasn't working, but like, I think there is a level of, it teaches you, but then you can learn how your own work style is and make sure you keep that discipline.
So what was kind of the transition from, your first couple of years into working in the field to all the way to starting your own firm? What was the process? Was it direct from your first hire to starting your own firm, or was there kind of a stepping stone?
When I first started, yeah, good question. When I first started, there was something called P1 and P2 at my company. P2 was the platform that was more independent. So that meant you had equity in your practice, and it was more like an RIA model where you still had the brand and the overhead and compliance, but you could kind of run your shop the way you wanted. So that was always like my intent. And then it just so happened that 5 years in was when we had the last Great Recession, like 2008, 2009. And so there was a lot of change happening. And I just know for myself, I was like, okay, I really want to do that type of model where I could build equity and run a business within financial planning. And they stopped the ability to do it, like the rules changed. So I then went to an independent firm. So 5 years at that one firm, got a lot of clients, learned what I needed to, got a lot of experience and training. And then I decided, okay, I want to stay in the industry. So I was 26, I got my CFP designation. And then I went to an independent firm for 2.5 years and rebuilt. You have to rebuild. I couldn't take any of the clients. So I rebuilt. That's when I started to develop a brand. That was like 2010. So this was like at the beginning of brands and social media. And in finance, we're still so far behind compared to beauty and fashion and all these other music, But at that time, I saw this ability to leverage social media and a brand to build a business and create clients. And so I just did everything I could within the compliance regulation to start a Twitter account, to do Facebook. Justin, I mean, you'll laugh, but I would have to call compliance every day and say, no, you have to approve this tweet. Like I had to submit all my tweets for pre-approval, which is like so anti the point of Twitter.
Yeah.
But that's what I did. I wanted to make it happen. So I found a way. And 2.5 years there, then I just decided, okay, I need more freedom to do more speaking and brand partnerships, which is a lot of what I do now. So I started this company 8 years ago. So until just this year, I've been doing individual financial planning, partners as a consultant or spokesperson with companies and brands to create financial content, which was my own unique niche. I think that I really feel like, oh, that's what I'm supposed to do. The 15 years of working with individual clients has helped me learn all the experience of working with real people, real money challenges. And now I take all that and put it into the content that I develop with these companies.
So why did that appeal to you so much leave the scope of just quote unquote, just being an advisor? Like, why did you decide to expand beyond and do speaking and all these other things you're involved in?
I think that was always part of it because I'm naturally like a creative social person. And for me, I was good at financial advising, but I wasn't like passionate. Some people really love financial advising. Like they could just sit and do financial plans and software all day long and meet with the clients. I'm good at meeting with clients. I'm really good at it, but that other stuff just didn't do it for me, like the software, running analysis. I was like, great. For me, I think I just found that being in finance, this was my unique version of it, where I'd still be involved in financial planning, but it was more on the education side and speaking side than anything else.
So have you always known you're a creative person like this?
No, I think that was part of self-discovery. In the first 5 years, after college, Just kind of give you a little background. I was like on the dance team in high school, dance team in college. I was very like academic in school, you know, good student and such. But when I did financial planning for those first 5 years, I became so like robotic corporate finance person that I stopped doing a lot of my creative things like dance or just enjoying life. And I became so like corporate. I do this because I want to pretend I'm a robot. Like I became like this little robot. Like, here's how you got to succeed in life. And I followed the rules of how you're supposed to get success. And then I forgot all these other parts of me that I enjoyed. And then I said, no, you know, I was just like sick a lot. I wasn't very healthy. So then I started to do those things again, like dance. And then I realized for me, like you and I could talk about money all day long on a video, but if you asked me to write a 10-page article about it, I would be like, oh God, it's so boring. So I just realized I have to find a way to make it work for me. And that was just part of my personality. And then you kind of learn like, hey, I'm pretty good at speaking. And then I just kept doing it. And I never took formal speaking courses or anything, but through so much experience, you get better and better and better, and you always learn.
So what advice would you give to young advisors who might think that they might be creative? Like they have a slight inkling that they're more creative. Do you think they should follow that itch?
I think so. I think you'll be happier. And it doesn't always need to be you're creative with the finance, but keep your creativity alive. You know, for me, I think finding the creative side in money was because also too, you do the financial plans, you kind of say the same thing over and over to these clients, and you're doing the same financial plan over and over and over. And so the creativity is like, well, you are so different than the other person. So that's the creative component, is each person is so different. So even learning how to communicate creatively to help people is so fun. So if you are creative, I would say, to me, that's actually how you'll succeed moving forward as someone in this space, because now more than ever, people realize, look, all this information we could find online. You could Google how to set up a budget, how to fund an IRA. It's not, the lack of information is not the problem. The problem is people still don't have someone holding their hand, talking to them in their own unique way. And so I think if you're creative, you'll actually do better, because you'll begin to market yourself in a unique way, attract clients in a unique way, help the clients in your own unique creative way, get those referrals. And, you know, I think that's a big part of having a successful business, is constantly pivoting and reevaluating and evolving. Because it's not like 8 years ago, I mean, I had a vision of where I wanted to be, but also it's been so much more than what I ever envisioned, you know, just because that's how life is.
So how did you develop your technical expertise? And I mean, did you do that before you started pursuing the more creative side, meaning your CFP designation? I think you have a couple other designations outside of the CFP too, right?
Yeah, I think that's part of it. You know, in the beginning, I read every finance book, every marketing book, every business book under the sun, took courses, mentors, got a few designations, CRPC, AAMS, and then the CFP. So I felt like I had all the academic backing. And then when I started this company 8 years ago, then I thought, okay, I have all the training mentally. Now I need to put into place the brand. How am I different? Who are the people I'm trying to help? And focus on that niche to then attract the business. Because I always would tell people too, I mean, you know this, but you can be the best financial advisor, planner in the world, but if you have no clients, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So actually, marketing in the creative side of this business, it is more than the tactical analytical side.
Yeah. So what was your process for developing your own brand? Like, did you just sit down one day and start journaling? Did you start watching videos on people who had good personal brand?
Yeah, actually a lot of that. In 2010, when I went to LPL, the independent firm, and I had to start over, I did this brand course where I had to create a brand. So they go through a lot of activities of, what is your brand personality? What is your brand colors? What are your brand like statements, mission? And I did a lot of that, like brand handbook, if you will. And I would explore other brands. Like, for example, we can just look at Apple, what is their brand? You see, they have a certain color palette, aesthetic, how they create their products. I mean, so I took courses. I had, more of that like formal workshop thing I did. But then a lot of it too, like you said, I just watched videos. And for me, I actually was watching a lot of videos about fashion and beauty brands, because at that time I was more specifically focused toward women, the segment around women. And I personally thought, women all day long can talk or like look at these fashion brands or go on this YouTube and watch makeup tutorials. I want to find a way to do that with money. Why can't money be just as fun or kind of playful?
Yeah.
Why does it always have to be so serious and like, I don't know, overwhelming? So I actually just referenced a lot of brands. I never really reference financial brands, to be honest. Anytime I do like my creative work, I look at other industries and what they're doing and kind of like relate it to money.
Yeah, I mean, you have a very lively YouTube channel, which I feel like is not super common in finance. Like, did that come naturally to you? I mean, was that just burst out of you as soon as you got the opportunity to be creative, or did you work into becoming, good in front of a camera, all that kind of stuff?
I worked into it. I mean, I at the time started like 10 years ago, put up my own camera, did the lighting. I mean, I probably took down a lot of those initial videos because you're like, oh God. But I don't do as many of my own videos anymore because I work with brands. Like for the last few years, I do more of their like videos. But yeah, it's just like trial and error. Like, consistency is really important. For me, I think I've consistently created content for 10 years now, whether it's videos or social media or blogs. And with the videos initially, every week, I would just make a video, and then I'd watch it. I'd have to edit it. So of course I watched it. And then you would see, I was so self-critical. I still can be, but now I can laugh. But I go, why do I talk like that? Why do I look so weird right now? Why can't I just talk normal? And you start to critique yourself on the video. And then, I have a handful of friends that would give me critiques or criticism too and helpful feedback. And then you just keep going and you keep improving. Even a few years ago, I remember I've been like doing videos for like 8 years. One of my friends, he's a doctor, and he just started to do social media for his practice. And he gave me feedback. He goes, Brittney, you're so serious in your videos. Why do you look so serious? And I go, oh my God, here I am doing videos for 8 years and I still look so serious in the videos. And then funny enough, he started doing videos and he came back to me like a few months later and he goes, it's actually a lot harder than I thought. And I go, see, it kind of is hard. Sometimes when you're talking about serious things, like money can be serious. People are facing real life challenges or dilemmas, and even in a video, this because you do a lot of it, but you might think you're energetic and then you watch the video and it's like
you sound like a zombie. Yeah,
you're like, what happened? I thought I had so much energy. So you have to actually do more and learn how to like engage the audience, which is not easy. It takes practice.
So how do you find balance when managing all these things? Are you into making sure your schedules, holding different things like health, wealth, happiness, kind of keeping everything in balance? You have a bunch of different things on your YouTube channel beyond just regular financial planning. You seem to kind of be into the whole picture. How do you find your balance?
Yeah, I love that. What did you say? Health, wealth, what?
Health, wealth, happiness.
Oh, I love that. Health, wealth, happiness. Yeah, time management has always been a strong thing for me. I'm really good at it. I have a calendar. I set healthy boundaries. When I first started as a financial advisor, we learned how to create model weeks where you have certain days where you do certain things and block out in your calendar. We learned that. So put in your workout time, your meditation time, your like friends and family time. So I still do that. And I think sometimes you have to put more focus here or there. It's not always like perfect balance, harmony, but I like to say there's seasons, right? So seasons where you might have to put more energy into like work and creating or launching something. And then seasons where you have to focus more on your own health or family, relationships, whatever it is, that might have the priority at the time. So it's just, and for me, I do a lot of meditation. Every morning I meditate. I do a lot of meditation retreats, which helps me stay more calm and present. To be honest, it just keeps me more present. So even though my schedule can seem very busy or full, as I like to say, I have a full life, I don't feel like overwhelmed or stressed. And I'm way better at living in the moment and enjoying the day. And I think that's a big part of it.
So as an entrepreneur, do you find yourself to be a natural business owner, manager of people, or does your creative nature kind of contradict that a little bit?
Yeah, that's a good one. I think I'm one of those leaders and boss that I like to give people the vision. Here's what I'm doing, like on team calls. Like if you were on my team, I'd say, here's what we're doing. Here are the goals for the month, for the quarter. Here's what I want you to do. Go do it. And I expect you to do it and report back to me. That's it. Like I'm not a micromanager. I actually don't like managing people. So I tend to hire people that will do the work, manage themselves.
Yeah.
Because I think that's part of me maybe being more of like the visionary. I like to have freedom where I'm not like constantly wasting time, or not wasting, I should say, but managing other people's behaviors. Like that's not what I want to do. I'd rather have time to do my personal life or, work on where we're going as the company and be that visionary. So yeah, and it's worked well. I mean, the people who work for me really love it because I think it allows anyone who works with me to have the freedom to give feedback, to give ideas. And I don't know, I think when you are a business owner, you realize soon enough that you can't do it all. You're going to make a lot of mistakes. Learn it and then hire people who are better at it than you, and stay humble, because the moment you think you know something, I'll tell you, life will throw you a challenge. You're like, well, thought I knew, but I guess I gotta learn more,
So in closing here, what advice would you give to college kids just starting out? It can be general advice, something that rings true to you. What's the parting advice you'd like to give?
I'd like to just say, have fun, just get a job.
Yeah.
I really get a job, do anything, and stay humble and just learn a lot wherever you can. And I would also say find mentors, and it doesn't have to be like real life mentors. I've had so many mentors from reading books. Like I'll read books.
What kind of books?
Yeah, like business leaders or memoirs or biographies. And I learn a lot vicariously through others' stories. So if you are just graduating college, don't get stuck in this idea that you got to find your passion or your life calling right after. I think that's unrealistic, and it actually can prevent a lot of people just from starting anywhere. And you might not get your dream job right away or the dream salary right away, but that's okay. You're really just getting experience and learning what you like and don't like, and that's so valuable.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks, Justin. You're great.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. This is Vincent Picillo, producer of the msuwma podcast, where we are inspiring and educating the next generation of financial planners. Thank you for listening to today's episode. If you enjoyed it, please check out our channel on all platforms such as Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and check out our social media at msuwma and msuwma.com.